we know this is great. And I'm serious when I say, like, I want to find other things to work with him on. Like, I feel like he and I should go to Broadway and bring The Odd Couple and, like, do it together.
You're with this amazing franchise, and it works. Like, everything works. Every movie is a success. The last thing you want to do is be the lead of the first thing that does not work. But before we started shooting, Kevin called me one day and was like, you know, Anthony, I won't let you suck. And that was the big thing.
You get to go home with these characters now. You're experiencing a day in their life in a way that you didn't before, because you couldn't in a 2.5-hour movie that had 30 characters, you know?
I couldn't have been more wrong. Marvel has kind of revolutionized the game. It's turned the knob a little bit from just come in and blow up to really giving character development, exposition, and story.
One of the things we were really tackling with tonally for our show was Anthony and I and our rapport, which we have in life, obviously, and, you know, we enjoy working together and busting each other's balls, you know, and how do we translate that to the characters in a way that feels, you know, not just like we're screwing around, but it actually applies to the text and the story and all that stuff, right? And there's this odd couple kind of counterpart to the two of them that we really discovered.
I think it was a very smart move, actually, to make WandaVision first. You know, WandaVision is really character and actor based. It's really, I think, a showpiece for Elizabeth Olsen and everything that she has to do episode to episode, as well as Paul. And it really gives you a great opportunity to invest in those characters and grow with them to the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There are things about the Falcon that you never would have, you know, thought of until you see the show. And you understand him in such a different way and after you see the show. And similarly with Bucky, too.
Sam Wilson is grappling with the idea of what that new normal is after the blip and figure out how we reacclimate into society.
And go, hey, you know, I grew up in the 50s and my mentality is this and this and this, but you know what? Like, wait a minute, I might have to re-ask those questions. I might have to relearn a couple things. I might have to open my eyes a little bigger here, you know, which is something that's very relatable. We've all kind of had to do.
And, you know, a lot of the lessons, a lot of the things he learned from Steve Rogers plays into that.
That's principles, right? That's morals, bigger issues. And then there's also the little ones, like, can you work an iPhone?
They had a very close relationship, Sam and Steve, of admiration and respect. But Sam's relationship and most Black Americans' relationship with America is not the case. So that makes the legacy of that shield very complicated. And, you know, it's something that we, as African Americans, have always had to recognize, relate, acknowledge, and accept. So you have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to represent that shield? It's a complicated question and a complicated reality.
And that's where the show gets very timely, and that's where the show does feel very familiar. It is a fun show, and it is definitely that buddy comedy that is reminiscent of the 80s, perhaps some of those, you know, familiar movies, but then the show is very grounded because of the questions that it asks the viewer to ask themselves by the end of it.
You know, for me, it's really interesting, not so much as an individual or a person, but, you know, being a dad, being an uncle, it means a lot. Like, there's so many, it's a very interesting time we live in. So I think the idea of kids having to have their, you know, those conversations with their parents and their friends about what the new Marvel universe looks like and the new characters they have and how they fit into that universe. I think it's very important, and I think it's going to leave a legacy on this generation that'll carry on into their next generations.
it also just goes to show that there's really anything's possible now. I mean, they've just got intertwining stories between the movies and the shows, and the world is just getting bigger, and it gives them more opportunities to explore characters. And as you've seen, people are making cameos in these shows that you didn't expect.
My ultimate dream was to wear the red suit. The Falcon had many different suits across the comic book life, but one was the deep V, like spandex red suit. And that was why I was so excited. I'm like, for a dude to be able to get in great shape and wear spandex is every actor's dream.
So I feel like it's kind of an exciting time over there in the sense of what they could be doing next. You know, fans can really finally think about those pairings of characters that they've always wanted, and feel that maybe that's actually going to happen now.
I'm hoping one day that I get to wear the red spandex suit.
I think people are going to enjoy that.